Welcome to New Orleans Fanatic Fever. I'm John.
I'm Josh.
Okay, I think, normally we like to say who dat. I think today is more like whoo dat.
Most agree, definitely.
That was more or less a typical Carolina Panthers New Orleans Saints game where, almost like following a script, one team jumps out in front, the other team catches up in the second half. One team has the chance to win it late, fails to do so, giving the other team one last chance to go down in the final 2 minutes and win or lose the game. This time it was New Orleans who came out on top.
Saints look pretty good in the matchup between Carolina. I mean, they jumped out to a quick 14-0 lead, and it just seemed that the team went kind of flat for a while. I mean, going against Kyle Allen, who has definitely settled into the starting role. Christian McCaffrey, who's having an MVP-like season. And one of the commentators of the game, he said it best, for the Saints to win, you got to contain Christian McCaffrey. And one of the guys said, look, I mean, sometimes you're just going to have to let MJ get his 35 points. You just got to stop the people around him. But I think it's a pretty good analogy when going against a team like the Panthers, led by a guy like Christian McCaffrey.
Drew Brees was 30 for 39 for 311 yards and 3 touchdowns. The offense, the running backs in Murray and Kamara had 18 carries apiece, 118 yards, and I want to say Murray had a touchdown on the opening drive.
He did.
So, what do you think about the Saints offense against Carolina?
A lot better. I didn't see a whole lot of consistency, but I mean, Drew Brees did say that they wanted to start off to go out to a fast start, but I want to see more consistency out of the offense. I kind of saw the offense go a little flat. I mean, letting Carolina get into the backfield. Receivers not getting enough separation. And, I mean, in the receiving core is pretty much the Michael Thomas show. We're starting to see Jared Cook come along a little bit. I mean, he did start the season off quiet. Latavius Murray has came along. Alvin Kamara, we're kind of waiting for him to really get his stride back. So, I mean, a pretty good showing by the offense overall, but let's just be honest. There's still a lot of room for improvement for this offense if they want to be successful.
Yeah. Now, the receiving core still seems to be just Michael Thomas and then everyone else for the most part. I mean, yes, there is obviously
Ted Ginn Jr.
Well, Ted Ginn still is that deep threat and not much else. I was going to go, there's Alvin Kamara out of the backfield. They can still use Taysom Hill as kind of a pseudo tight end. But like you said, Jared Cook does seem to be rising recently as this second option, especially in the red zone, which is kind of what they signed him to be. And, Cook this past game had 6 receptions, 99 yards, and a touchdown. Easily his best performance of the season. And he had some other really good moments throughout the season as it's progressed. Like I said, he's come along since week 1, and I kind of have to expect that with people who are still trying to get acclimated to the playbook and really get to the point where Sean Payton feels comfortable integrating them into the offense a little bit more, and we're starting to see that out of some of the pickups like Murray and Cook.
And some players that they're fresh to the organization, they're new to the Saints offense, and some of them they're like learning the Saints offense is kind of like trying to learn a new language. And that's why the Saints offense has been so prolific over the years. But we've seen the Saints offense take a few steps back. I mean, honestly, yes, with Drew Brees getting injured and then Teddy coming in and Teddy trying to get acclimated to being in the starting role, and Drew Brees recovering from his injury, and a bunch of things being factored into it. Injuries is something that we also need to watch. I hate to sidetrack. Teron Armstead went down. Andrews Pete is still down. And so it's
a lot of more still out.
And so injuries is something that we really have to look out for. And, as far as the backups, Sean Payton needs to have the backups ready.
But I personally don't think you need to rush anybody back just yet, considering at what point in the season we're at. I would much rather have people healthy and ready to go for the playoffs than to rush them back too soon, especially with just, 5 games left?
5 games.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the workhorse of this offense, Michael Thomas. He's on a record pace right now with 104 receptions, which puts him on pace to break Marvin Harrison's record he set back in 2006, I want to say.
2006.
Yeah. He has 1,242 yards receiving and 6 touchdowns. He's not on pace to break Jerry's record. No, I'm excuse me, Calvin Johnson's. Or is it Julio Jones?
Julio Jones.
Julio Jones. Single season, right?
Single season.
Single season, yeah. He's not going to reach that, but here, give him another game or two. He very well easily could. Because he's now had, I want to say, 5 or 6 games where he's gone over 100 yards receiving.
And also the amount of receptions he's getting per game. I mean, you're seeing him get 9, 10, even up to 13 receptions per game. And so it's how much that the Saints value the type of player Michael Thomas is and the type of production he could bring to an offense. And which draft class he was a part of? He was a part of the
2016
draft class.
He was second round out of Ohio State.
And Marshawn Lattimore was Wait.
Yeah, he was second. Von Bell was third round.
And so, definitely a huge steal by the Saints in the draft. I mean, probably one of the best draft picks the Saints have gotten in the past few years.
It could easily become one of the best draft picks the Saints have gotten ever. They held Allen to 256 yards passing off of 23 completions, but 3 touchdowns. 29 carries for 121 yards, so their strength was still the run game, even though they had a hard time really containing McCaffrey, though they did slow him down. So,
I don't want to say that the Saints offense was just bad because, like you said, this is a typical game between the Panthers and the Saints. This is pretty much the nature of the beast when it comes to this rivalry. But I did see a lot of inconsistency. But I mean, I was impressed with, of course, Demario Davis was once again impressive in this game. He has been a force to reckon with in that front seven. I would like to see the front seven get a lot more pressure on the quarterback and be a lot more consistent at it. I would like to see the secondary regain their consistency as far as pass defense. Because Kyle Allen, I mean, for a while, he was having his way with that Saints secondary. I'm not going to even lie to
you. Yeah. And part of it, Lattimore was out again this game, which meant P.J. Williams had to be on the outside, which he's not very good at covering, and it showed. I mean, he's better inside the slot and up there on the line in kind of a pseudo linebacker, role where honestly he could be just phenomenal. But you put him on the outside and he's toast most of the times.
Say the same. I mean, you mind hey, let's switch him and Patrick Robinson. I mean, Patrick Robinson could probably be on the outside.
I don't know. He's been kind of a disappointment with his second stint with the Saints.
That is true.
Maybe he should just go.
Do you think about maybe giving Ken Crawley another shot? I mean, Ken Crawley was phenomenal when he first stepped on for the Saints in his rookie season.
That may be hard to do because right now he's playing for Miami.
Wait, I didn't know he got traded to Miami.
No, he didn't get traded, sir. He got let go.
Oh, I didn't know that he was in Miami in the first place. That's something you probably should have broken to me.
Well, you say to follow the Saints pretty closely. I thought you would have known. Okay, so next up is the Falcons, and that is this Thanksgiving. 7:30 late night show.
Let's just say vengeance is a dish best served cold. But this dish is going to be served pretty hot for Thanksgiving.
And I thought my jokes were bad.
I will take my shoe off and throw it at you.
But we know the story of the Falcons this past the first time 2 weeks ago was not the best performance that the New Orleans Saints have come out with this season.
Wow, such an understatement. I like how you're being generous with your comments.
Hey, it is the season of giving. Anywho, I don't think that the Saints will be caught napping this time around. I just don't see that happening.
The Saints are going to pull the W in this one. The Falcons brought us back to reality, and now we know what we have to improve in. Now we know what we can sustain, and now we know where we can dominate at.
Yeah. But yeah. So the Falcons dropped to 2-7 on the year. Excuse me, 2-8 on the year. Um, the Bucks not far behind. In fact, the Atlanta Tampa Bay game was a fight for cellar dweller, and the Panthers are officially. I mean, they're 4 games back with 5 to go. So
I mean, they're still in the hunt for a wild card.
still
But
have for a walk.
this game was very important. This was a game that the Panthers really needed, and them being 4 games back with 5 games left, I don't see the Panthers crawling out of this hole.
No, they do have an outside shot at that 6th seed, which currently is being held by Minnesota, the Vikings. So yeah, the Vikings currently are the last man in. So, but with Green Bay's loss to the 49ers, that officially puts the Saints in sole possession of number 2.
Until December 8th.
Yeah, we shall see. I don't know. The coming week should be pretty interesting as far as development of playoff picture and seeding goes, which, of course, New Orleans is currently in sole possession of number 2 and in contention for number 1. So we shall see going forward. They do still play the 49ers. They do still have the Colts coming up. They have another game with the Panthers. Falcons this week. And what the last team is escaping me that I cannot think of right now that they still have to play. But let's see, Panthers, Falcons. Yeah, I'm missing one team. There's 5 games left. Oh well. But another exciting game between the Panthers and the Saints. Saints move on, full control of the division now. Now all there is left to fight for really is playoff seeding, unless the unimaginable happens. And so we'll look forward to that. And the rest of an exciting year. Who dat?
Who dat?
All right, thanks for watching. We enjoyed recording this show, and we hope you join us next week when we cover the Saints and LSU versus their respective teams. You can follow us on Facebook or check out our website at aisportsnetwork.com. See you next week. Bye, y'all.